Thank you for staying with us. Now, Lagos State Government in southwest Nigeria will on Sunday launch the Ounje Eko food market, offering discounted prices on essential food items across the state. The markets will offer Lagos residents a 25% discount on staple food like rice, beans, gari, bread, eggs, tomatoes, and pepper. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, disclosed this in a statement. The markets will be open at 27 locations in Ikeja, 6 in Lagos Island, 9 in Ikorodu, 5 in Ekpe, and 10 in Badagry divisions. Illegal child adoption is a major social menace in Abia State. It is a development that poses a challenge to both security agencies and the government. In this report, News Central's Chinwe Ugele takes a look at the menace of illegal adoption and the need to check it.
Illegal child adoption is a thriving practice which involves supposedly orphanage homes harboring young teenage girls who got pregnant out of wedlock and seek protection outside their families. Upon delivery of the babies, the operators of some of these orphanages take them from their mothers and sell them to mystery buyers at the cost the parties agree on without the input of the biological mother, who ends up receiving a paltry sum from the deal. Section 126, subsection 1 of the Child Rights Act 2003 outlines the conditions and requirements potential parents must meet before approval can be given for adoption application. The age of the would-be parents, the consent or identification letters from the traditional ruler or local government chairman of the applicant, the sex and financial status of such a person must be tendered.
Adoption is a process. It demands a lot from the would-be parents, what they would do for them to say, yes, we have legally adopted a son or a daughter. There are things we demand from them, which by our culture here, we like making some things quite secret. We don't want people to know that that baby I'm carrying, I'm not the biological mother or whatever. So you find out that they won't come out open to involve others. Why the ministry will want them to involve others.
Abia State in 2006 domesticated the Child Rights Act, yet some citizens brazenly disregard its dictates and conduct adoptions as the normal buying and selling of commodities. In some cases, these orphanage homes are just fronts for baby factories.
These homes are not registered with the ministry. They will put up a signboard claiming that they are part of the ministry, but most of them invariably are not part of the ministry, because you come to us here, you will not find them registered anywhere. And then some will be registered. You give them terms of reference and they will operate outside those terms of reference that are given to them.
Recently, the Abia State Police Command rescued some 16 teenage girls from such an outfit in Aba and arrested suspects. The Deputy Governor's wife, Chidera Emetu, visited the rescued victims at the Women Development Center, Umuahia, and Specialist Hospital, Amachara, on behalf of the Governor's wife, with the assurance to rehabilitate the girls.
Governor Alex Otti will see to it, because this is not the first time something like this is happening. This is actually the second. And these particular suspects, they caught, they are going to have it hard and difficult, so that whoever is thinking of doing something like this again will think twice before executing such.
I will be, if government can help me with some money, I will use the money to find something and do for myself.
I used to break kernel and go and sell in the market, and I will help myself for that.
Anyone who wishes to adopt a child must do so within the ambit of the law of the state, as the only proof of adoption in Nigeria is a stamped or sealed certified true copy of a registered adoption. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
About 150 houses were destroyed by windstorm that ravaged residents of Njering in Bomadi Local Government Area of Adamawa State. According to the victims, the windstorm started at about 2 p.m. on Saturday, which culminated into rains which damaged rooftops and walls of block. A veterinary student who lamented his ordeal said he was on his way to his usual evening exercise when he was called. While revealing the extent of the damage, the state lawmaker representing Nasarawa Njereng Binyeri at the Adamawa House of Assembly, Babangida Jeddah, says his immediate task is to present the problem to his colleagues at the floor of the House of Assembly.
The windstorm has ravaged the community. It has ravaged almost 150 houses. Livelihoods are destroyed, and houses are destroyed, and some people were injured. So in fact, it's a disaster. There is no break. So it directly affects the distance. So I want to encourage the community, and honestly, I want to, as a matter of fact, meet with the ACRISCA.
Now we move to health matters, where over 240 clinicians, including medical doctors, nurses, midwives, and community health extension workers, have undergone intensive training on basic mental health care in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. This initiative by the World Health Organization and European Union aims to equip frontline healthcare workers with the necessary skills to effectively manage mental health issues among meningitis patients and prevent further casualties. News Central's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
27 reported deaths attributed to meningitis in Nigeria's Yobe state alone in recent weeks. This joint effort underscores the urgent need for coordinated action to curb the outbreak and safeguard public health in the Northeast region.
Mental health and psychosocial support is one of the pillars of response for the cerebrospinal meningitis. And I believe this particular group of clinicians that are trained will also be able to provide basic psychosocial counseling to, of course, some of the family that have lost their loved ones in the event of the CSM outbreak.
In the face of the deadly outbreak, it is important to ensure that clinicians are able to provide holistic care, taking into consideration not only the physical symptoms, but also the mental health implications.
It is a big challenge in the whole world, more especially here in Nigeria, as we are going into this hard situation, because you see a lot of people, they cannot even have 3 square meals. It affects them psychologically.
So when you are talking of the causes, there is heredity. Drugs and alcohol can equally bring about mental disorder. Stress can bring about mental disorder.
The selected healthcare workers in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe State were equipped with how to handle the challenges posed by mental health, among others.
I believe the participants will be better equipped and skilled to be able to early identify mental health disorders that I've mentioned, provide basic or initial care to the patient, and of course be able to early refer to secondary health care.
This joint initiative by the WHO and EU is just a step in the wider effort to manage mental health related cases. The training program aims to not only equip healthcare workers with the prerequisite skills to provide immediate care, but also to build resilience within the affected communities. In Yobe State for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Thank you, Umaru, for that report. Now, submarine cable company Main One says it may take up to 2 weeks to repair undersea cable cut, which disrupted internet services in Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and other West African and East African countries since Thursday. The company said the cause of the network outage was as a result to a fault on the Main One network. Preliminary findings and further investigations revealed that the fault occurred due to an external incident that resulted in a cut on the submarine cable system in the Atlantic Ocean offshore Côte d'Ivoire along the coast of West Africa. We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, News Central Now returns. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Let's now head to Senegal, where leading opposition figure Ousmane Sonko says the upcoming election will not be a war. He made this known on Friday during a news conference, a day after being freed from prison. Sonko reiterated support for his coalition presidential candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye, also released from prison late Thursday, as the two met journalists.
Macky Sall keroog bi mu ne man nekkatuma candidat dañu pare du suñu adversaire waaye am na lu gën a garaaw fuuf mooy candidat wu Macky Sall Amadou Ba bu yàlla ñàkkee bëgg Sénégal dëgg rek na ko jox Amadou wallaahi yéen xam leen Amadou Sénégalais question bi ñu waroon posé wu rek mooy simple fonctionnaire nu mu mën a yor alal gi yépp loolu rek jar na bañ a voter kooku. bañ ma ne il faut ñu reporter élection bi ndax yow ak diw il faut ngeen bokk ma leen sama bokkub élection mënul justifier report élection.
Mais l'expérience de Amadou Ba, personnellement j'en veux pas. Je veux pas d'une expérience de violation des lois, d'une expertise en coup bas, d'une expérience dans les malversations, les détournements. J'en veux pas.
Well, joining me to discuss this further is a foreign policy analyst, Bolu Michael B. Hello, Bolu. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now, Bolu, it's assumed that the amnesty law that freed Sonko and Faye was intended to ease tensions, but we see Sonko still speaking of justice for those who are currently in power. Now, how might this rhetoric and potential future actions impact Senegal's internal political climate?
Well, I think, clamoring for justice was expected of anybody that has been to jail and is coming out and feels like he's been wrongfully jailed. But then when we look at it, the justice is talking about is what his supporters and everybody else, that empathizes with him has been clamoring for even while he was in jail. So I feel like, that being said, there probably wouldn't be any particular difference, from what we are seeing right now, whether I made the statement or not, in terms of what the political situation is like right now in Senegal. What's important is for the government to ensure as much as possible that whatsoever is making the people or someone like Sonko to clamor for justice is legitimate and they are not acting arbitrarily.
Okay. Now, we saw that immediately after he released, he was released, they organized a press conference. How do you think that Sonko's continued influence, despite qualification, will impact the overall stability of the election process?
Okay, we're seeing young people coming out to really support, Sonko and Faye. However, the most popular person prior to election doesn't necessarily become the winner. In fact, most cases they are most likely not going to be the winner. Popularity doesn't translate to electoral votes most of the time. And the fact that young people are supporting him in a case of an electoral loss scenario, there are chances that these young people that we are seeing protesting before election may protest after election as well. So it's important that in a situation whereby there's a form of political instability, that Sonko and Faye call their supporters to order and ensure as much as possible that it's not attracting the Senegal is not attracting negative attention from the international community.
All right, now, Bolu, talking about attracting negative, attention, the outgoing president's last-minute election postponement, did spark unrest. How would you say, or how do you think that Senegal will ensure a free and fair and also a transparent election in this time to maintain international confidence in its democratic process?
Okay, yeah, the good thing is that Senegal has maintained a very positive reputation hitherto in terms of political stability, and I think President Macky Sall has, finally come to terms with the reality and accepted the fact that he's going to be leaving office. And I believe he wants to leave a positive legacy behind. And we are seeing that in the release of Sonko. So for him to ensure that, he leaves a positive legacy behind, it's important for him to ensure that the elections are well observed, that people, come out and they're not intimidated. They vote freely and fairly. And lastly, that elections results are announced on time.
All right, so just before we let you go, Bolu, now Senegal is a key U.S. partner in West Africa, right? How do you think a potential victory by Faye with his focus on renegotiating contracts impact U.S.-Senegal relations, and what strategies could be employed to maintain this crucial partnership?
Well, I'll say the strategy is not to renegotiate contracts, because these are contracts that has been there since the time immemorial. They take a lot of time to to negotiate, and I feel it shouldn't even be something that's part of a manifesto. It should be something that comes ordinary in the course of governance, and that may show some level of naivety in terms of the experience or exposure, or political governance or political exposure of Faye as a candidate. I honestly don't see him winning, to be honest, because the people that he's contesting against are not winners in Senegalese politics. We have people like Idrissa Seck, and this Khalifa Sall. It's going to be a tough one. Best bet would probably be a runoff at the end of the day. So I do not see him actually winning. So I can't really place him in a position whereby his negotiation contract, that's going to be very difficult for him to do. And I don't think that's something that would one can even get done, as a early victory or early win, political victory in any way.
All right. Well, thank you so much, foreign policy analyst Bolu Michael B, for joining me at this time and speaking on this.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And now we move to North Africa, where a major fire in Cairo has destroyed one of the Arab world's most prestigious and oldest film production houses, founded 80 years ago. Flames overtook the Al Ahram studio in Cairo's Giza district, burning everything inside and spreading to 3 surrounding buildings, which were evacuated before the blaze reached them. Residents of the neighboring buildings were still sleeping on the ground in nearby streets at dawn on Saturday. Security sources say there were no deaths, though some people suffering from smoke inhalation were treated at the scene. The cause of the fire is still unknown, and firefighters needed more than 6 hours to extinguish it.
هي النار كانت جايه باخر دور خالص هنا اهو، وبعد كده ابتدت تخش يمين ناحيه الشجر والمخزنه، كل ده ولع لغايه ما الاسعاف جت المطافي نزلوا كل ده تاني. هو ده استوديو تصوير، الناس بتصور فيه مسلسلات في رمضان وافلام، بيبقى في حركه في المكان جوه على طول الوقت، فهو ما حدش يعرف ايه اللي حصل جوه حتى الان. ده ماس كهرباء، وفي ناس بتقول ان ده في ناس بتقول ان ده حاجه حصلت غريبه ما حدش يفهم ايه لغايه دلوقتي.
And now in other news from around the world, Colombian President Gustavo Petro has proposed changing the constitution in the face of a refusal by the opposition-controlled Congress to approve elements of his reform agenda. The leftist president, in power since August 2022, has failed to convince members of Congress to give the green light to his bills aimed at modifying the South American nation's health, pension, and labor systems.
Si esta posibilidad de un gobierno electo popularmente en medio de este Estado y bajo la Constitución de Colombia no puede aplicar la Constitución porque lo rodean para no aplicarla y le impiden, entonces Colombia tiene que ir a una Asamblea Nacional Constituyente. Colombia no se tiene que arrodillar. El triunfo popular del 2002 se respeta. Y la Asamblea Nacional Constituyente debe transformar las instituciones para que le obedezcan al pueblo su mandato de paz y de justicia.
Let's now join our business desk for today's news.
The Nigerian federal government's decision to halt the implementation of the expatriate employment levy has garnered commendation from prominent private sector advocacy groups, including the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises. The move is praised for addressing widespread concerns within the business community and reassuring international partners of Nigeria's commitment to fostering a favorable business environment. Stakeholders appreciate the government's responsiveness to public feedback and anticipate improved relations between the government and the private sector, potentially enhancing investor confidence and facilitating smoother business operations. The Kenyan Treasury is urging financial sector regulators in the country to enhance revenue collections to offset the budget funding shortfall for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Principal Secretary Chris Kiptu met with CEOs from the Insurance Regulatory Authority, Capital Markets Authority, and Retirement Benefits Authority to discuss strategies for increasing government revenue. These regulators annually collect substantial sums through levies, license fees, and fines, resulting in significant surpluses remitted to the Treasury. For instance, the Insurance Regulatory Authority collected 2.3 billion Kenyan shillings in premium levy, exceeding the required remittance of 1.1 billion Kenyan shillings. This initiative comes amid a decline in transfers from other government agencies, exacerbating budgetary challenges for the fiscal year. We also tell you that the Kenyan National Treasury is contemplating imposing a 16% value-added tax on bread and milk to bolster revenue collections. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Odongo argues that the current zero-rated VAT structure fails to adequately assist targeted poor households and primarily benefits the middle class. Zero-rated goods like bread and milk are typically essential items exempted from VAT to make them more accessible to lower-income consumers. Additionally, the Kenya Revenue Authority recently introduced eTIMS Lite to streamline tax compliance in the informal sector, rescinding exemptions for small businesses with turnovers below 5 million Kenyan shillings, that's about $36,363, from invoicing requirements. JP Morgan Chase & Co.'s Global Head of Commodities Research predicts gold to reach $2,500 per ounce this year, citing market enthusiasm and potential Federal Reserve policy shifts. Natasha Kaniva highlighted the importance of continued moderation in inflation and job numbers, along with confirmation of Fed rate cuts. The Fed's anticipated move towards looser monetary policy is expected to bolster gold's allure against yield-bearing assets like bonds. Policymakers emphasize the need for evidence of inflation nearing its 2% target before considering interest rate reductions, underpinning gold's potential surge amid economic uncertainty. And that's all on business news. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
In the world of sports, Bayer Leverkusen forward Francis Onyeka has been called up to feature in Germany's under-21 squad for the European Championship qualifying round in Braga, competing with Croatia, Ireland and Portugal for a spot in Cyprus. The German Football Association revealed the squads for the country's youth teams ahead of March international fixtures, with 4 players eligible for Nigeria in contention to represent the country. SC Freiburg goalkeeper Noah Atubolu is poised to earn more caps for Germany's under-21s in the upcoming European Championship qualifiers. While Eintracht Frankfurt's Nnamdi Collins remains in Germany's plans despite non-debuting for the senior team at 20. David Odogu, an under-17 world champion, will also join Germany's under-18s for matches against the Netherlands, England and the Czech Republic. Kaylee McCowan came close to breaking her own 100-meter backstroke world record at the NSW State Championships on Saturday, clocking in at 57.57 seconds, just shy of her world best time of 57.33 seconds. The Australian, gearing up for the defense of her Olympic title in Paris, dominated the race, outpacing Molly O'Callaghan, the holder of the 200 meters freestyle world record, who finished at 58.71 seconds. McCowan now holds the 6th fastest times in history in the event. With world records in all 3 backstroke disciplines, she heads to the Olympics as a strong favorite. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that scores died in Delta communal clash as Okuama community accused army of invasion. We also told you that Lagos State is set to open discounted food markets on Sunday. Finally, you heard that Main One has said submarine cable repair over internet disruption may take 2 weeks. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.